What's up, Digital Collective 828? This is Rashina. We want to talk to you about something that we believe most people are missing. Everybody's so focused on Swift and ISO 222 that there's one thing that people are not connecting the dots, and it's regarding the world's largest settlement system. And it just proved that it can move trillions of dollars without Swift messaging altogether. And if you're holding XRP, this might completely reframe how you see that in the next 12 months. So stick with us. In a few minutes, you'll see where XRP fits in a way most people have missed. So in August 2022, DTCC, that's the company that processes over 2 quadrillion in securities transactions every year, launched something called Project ION in a live production environment. And it wasn't a test. And it's been processing over 100,000 blockchain based equity settlements every single day since 2022. And on peak days, over 160,000 transactions. So think of it like this: while everybody was focused on one highway, which is the Swift Highway, DTCC built a brand new superhighway running right alongside Swift. And it's actually in production since 2022. Listen.
I would say something though. Since you say August of 2022, that's 3 years ago. 3 years ago that this all took place. And I don't think nobody was really paying attention. Because I think during that time, that's when the case was still in full effect with SEC and Ripple case. Brad Gardenhouse was still doing business outside. He said he's not waiting till this case get over. He kept on making deals and getting partnerships with different companies like the DTCC. And you talking about 2 quadrillion, that is a lot of money. So you think about the amount of transaction that's a day, every day. That's a lot.
Yes. And so, like I said, they have been in production since 2022. And the DTCC, they partnered with a company called R3 to use something called Corda blockchain technology. So you may be asking, who was R3? R3 is a blockchain tech company founded back in 2014 that started as a consortium of just 9 banks, but it quickly grew to over 60 financial institutions working together to build a blockchain specifically for their needs. And that blockchain is Corda. And Corda is a permission distributed ledger, which makes it different from public blockchains. Remember, I said permissioned distributed ledger. So Corda restricts access to only authorized participants. So since that is done, privacy is built in. So only parties involved in a transaction can see the details on the blockchain, and it doesn't broadcast the details of each transaction to the entire network. And it confirms each transaction in real time rather than batching them into blocks. So in simple terms, Corda is a private blockchain built for banks that need privacy and regulatory compliance.
So that
So,
I read a
ahead.
couple articles a few months ago. R3 is actually is going to be used through Wells Fargo and some other companies, banks that's already connected to R3. So R3 is pretty big. Then and you add Ripple to that's going to be something major.
Don't tell them, don't get too far advanced. We're going to give them the XRP connection in a minute. So we're going to get to that, but we want to keep building you up to let you see what people are not talking about. So, in the summer of 2024, the DTCC did something wow, right? They ran a test with 26 major financial players, banks, custodians, clearinghouses to prove they could turn real treasury bonds into digital versions and move them instantly between institutions. And so, like, you may be saying, okay, what does that really mean? So think of it like this. Imagine you had $100 bill locked in a safe, right? Normally, if someone wants to borrow that $100 as collateral, you would have to physically open the safe and then hand in the cash and then wait for the paperwork for all that to clear. And that could take days. But what if instead you could create a perfect digital copy of that $100 bill, something that represents that money in the safe, and just text that digital copy to someone instead instantly? So that's what they did. They created a digital twin, right? And the real treasury bond stays locked up safely, but the blockchain-based digital version of it can zip around the financial system in seconds instead of days. So that's what they did. So the digital twin is the tokenization representation of the real asset. And that is huge because in traditional finance, when banks need to post collateral for trades, they sent messages through Swift basically saying, hey, I owe you this bond, but then wait a couple of days for the actual settlement. And now they can just send a digital version of the bond itself instantly with 24/7 settlement, no waiting.
Wow.
And this was the DTCC built already.
That is something. It sounds like they have a lot of liquidity behind them.
So in April 2025, to speed up a little bit, after a successful test, the DTCC said, okay, the test worked, and now we're going to build the actual system. And what they launched was called a tokenized collateral platform, which in normal English is just saying a blockchain system that banks can actually use right now to move trillions of dollars worth of collateral instantly. And the DTC's chief technology officer said something really important. So let me read his exact quote. His name is Don Doney, DTC, the DTCC CTO. He said collateral mobility is the killer app for institutional use of blockchain. And by using smart contracts to authorize the full range of collateral operations, we enable complex trade execution across markets in real time at any time, even in volatile conditions. So you may say, well, what does that even mean? It means that the single most valuable thing blockchain can do for big institutions is letting them move their collateral instantly across borders, even at 3 a.m. on a Sunday when markets are traditionally closed. And when they say trillions, they mean it. The US Treasury market alone is 25 trillion. And if 10% of that moves to tokenized systems, that's 2.5 trillion being moved on blockchain rails.
That's a lot.
Yes, that's a lot. That's a lot. Listen, I feel like that's the saying a lot is the understatement of it, of the magnitude of how much that is. Okay.
You're right.
So here's the problem that nobody's talking about. Now we almost to the point where we're going to tell you where XRP fits in, but this is the problem that we think most people are missing. The DTCC built their system. It works great inside the U.S. financial system, but Europe has their own blockchain system with Euroclear. Asia has Project Guardian in Singapore. JP Morgan has their own blockchain called Onyx. So you got all these islands of really fast settlement, but they don't automatically talk to each other, right? I hope that you're getting it now. And this is where people misunderstand XRP. They think, well, the DTCC has their own blockchain. Why would they need XRP? That's the $1 trillion gap that most people are missing because the DTCC's blockchain doesn't talk to Euroclear's blockchain, and neither of them are designed to be neutral bridges that everyone can use to talk to each other. XRP was built specifically to be the neutral bridge. It is the interchange that can connect the DTCC's network to the rest of the world. Listen, who has missed that? Who has told you guys that before? Listen, and this is not even, this is outside of the SWIFT system too. This is bypassing SWIFT altogether. Listen, and here's why this really matters. The U.S. bank needs to instantly settle tokenized collaterals in the European bank, and they're gonna need a bridge that can do that in seconds and not days. And XRP, what does it do? It settles in 3 to 5 seconds. It's designed exactly for this, to be the liquidity bridge between financial networks that otherwise can't easily move between each other. So when people say, or people may say the DTCC doesn't need XRP, I think they're thinking too small. Right. The DTCC doesn't need XRP to operate internally, but the global financial system needs a neutral bridge to connect all the private networks together. Ding, ding, ding.
If you listen to what we were saying about the $2 quadrillion that the DTC handles a year, then if you two talking about 2 quadrillion, boy, good lord, I have no XRP left at all. So if you get that, and you get the real estate, you get CBDCs, you get Swift, all these different organizations that need cross border. The XRP ledger. You talking to me? You talking about a supply shock for real? Because this is going to be outrageous when all this stuff hit that XRP ledger. It's going to be unreal. I
Right.
don't think people ready. I don't think people ready to see what's going to happen real soon. Like you said,
Yeah.
in 12 months.
Yes. So that's the big picture. So you may still be saying to yourself, well, why should I even care? I'm a retail crypto holder and this is institutional. So how does this even impact me? I mean, if you were connected dots, you should know, but let me help you. So here are 6 reasons why this is a really big deal. Number 1, it proves that the technology actually works. So for years, crypto has been the future of finance, and now the world's largest settlement system just proved that it can handle institutional money in a live environment, right? So the plumbing of global finance is being rebuilt on blockchain. All right, that's number 1. Number 2, it unlocks trillions in institutional capital. Trillions. Most pension funds and banks can't use public crypto, but when the DTCC builds compliant infrastructure, it creates legal pathways for that money to enter the space. And the entire crypto market is a few $1 trillion. The US Treasury market alone is 25 trillion. The potential inflow is massive. Massive. Jump right in if you got something, Sean, you want to add to one of them.
I'm still blown away about this two quadrillion. I'm not a math teacher, but that's gonna blow me away. I don't know. Now I was gonna say I think Ripple did a great job by connecting with DTCC and other companies. I think they did a wonderful job.
I don't believe Ripple has connected with the DTC other than they are positioned to just be the go-to for the DTCC.
To me, that's a connection. That's a connection. They got to use the lesser. Have to.
So number 3, real quick. So I wouldn't make this video too long for you guys. It creates real utility, not speculation. So instead of just asking, people ask, well, when is the XRP number going to go up? When is the price going to get higher? So instead of asking when will the number go up, the question should now become how much value is being settled using the asset. So when XRP is used to bridge tokenized treasury settlements, that's measurable utility. One is a bet and the other is infrastructure demand, right? So number 4, it separates winners from losers. The DTCC can't use Dogecoin to settle trillions. Now, just to pick the coin, they can't use Dogecoin to settle trillions. Nothing against Dogecoin if you got it and you like it. I'm just telling you what can happen, right? They're building with they're compliant. They're building with a compliant, fast, scalable infrastructure. So the 222 compliant tokens, that are useful and built for cross-border settlement position you for what's actually being built next. Right. Number 5, it creates the rails for your investments to run on. Think of the DTCC as building a railroad system, like if it was building in the 1800s, right? Even if you don't own the railroad stock itself, if you benefit if you own the asset that those rails use, like XRP is a bridge. That it so if you own some of the assets that the rails are built on, then that benefits you. Number 6, it forges regulatory clarity. When the DTCC and JP Morgan are moving trillions on chain, they demand clear rules. They don't want to build with something that's risky or not compliant. So this is why we saw the Genius Act pass. Regulatory clarity reduces risk and boosts institutional confidence. So that's just a given. So that was number 6. Just to talk about the regulatory piece for just a few seconds, and how it fits with the DTCC's tokenization. It's not one or the other for that. You need both of this, because the Genius Act is like the government approving the building permits and with the safety codes, and the DTCC tokenization is the actual construction of the building. If I was to give an analogy. So the Genius Act that passed in July 2025, it created the federal framework for stablecoins that says they're legal and who can issue them, and they must be backed by high quality reserves. But that alone doesn't build anything. It's just the rule book, right? So the DTCC, on the other hand, is the actual building and operating of the infrastructure. They are proving that it works at scale with trillions in real assets. So one is the permission, which is the Genius Act, and the other is the proof, which is the DTCC, what they've done. And that's why the timing is so critical. So look at how these events converge. In March of 2025, the OCC removes crypto banking restrictions. April 2025, the DTCC launches its tokenized collateral platform. July 2025, the Genius Act passed. November 2025, what we got going on then? The final ISO 20022 migration completes. Now that is the legal framework and the technical infrastructure are all being rolled out lockstep. And that's not a coincidence, y'all. That's a coordinated plan. That's a coordinated plan.
I believe that. I believe that 100%. I think that time is ticking, and we already know November is next month, the 22nd. These banks have to switch over to the new system, or they will be fined if they don't switch over every day. And from my understanding, there's 91% of the banks global are ready for ISO 222. You know, United States was ready in July the 14th. So we already compliance to the ISO 222. So it's going to be very interesting to see next month how everything falls in place with this. Right. So for an asset like XRP, the Genius Act makes stable coins like Ripple's RLUSD legal, while the DTCC's infrastructure creates the networks that RLUSD and XRP are needed to bridge. And assets like XRP sit right at that intersection of legal clarity and the working rails, right at the intersection. DTC tokenization of trillions isn't just boring institutional information. It's the moment where blockchain proves it can handle Wall Street scale and real utility begins to replace just speculation, right? So here's one more analogy for you to help you get this. Imagine if you invested in Uber stock back in 2010, right? And then in 2025, the government announced they were building roads specifically designed for ride sharing, like Uber. Would that matter to your investment? Absolutely. Because they just make riding an Uber easier, more access, right? In my analogy. So that's what the DTCC is doing. They're building the roads that assets like XRP can drive on. And specifically, assets like XRP can drive on. Like only XRP can drive on, or assets like that. Wow. So that's the infrastructure map being drawn in real time. The only question is whether you're paying attention. That's the only question. Yeah, that's a good question. So listen, we hope that you found this information, but I want to ask you a question. Do you think that this is the final validation for institutional grade crypto? You think this is the final validation that it needs? What do you guys think? Put it in the comments. And then we're going to have another poll. I want you to really be honest with this one. Which of these moves do you think is the real domino effect that sets everything in motion? Is it the tokenization of real assets like DTC, collateral treasuries, or is it XRP bridging the private networks, or is it regulatory clarity finally locking in, or is it institutional adoption turning on the lights, or are you one of those people that's not convinced yet? So let us know in the comments too.
We're going to try to set up a poll for that answer, but we want to know from you, which one is the real domino effect that starts all the other dominoes from falling? Let us know. All right, so we hope that you got this. I was really excited to share this one with you guys. And we always say we appreciate the DC 828. We appreciate you guys. Check out our merch. I hope you like the DC 828 shirt, Digital Collective 828. Got the Romans 828 on the back a little bit, if you can see. The shop is on our page now, and then we have memberships available for YouTube. If you want to become a member of our channel, we have that. You have exclusive benefits of becoming a member of the YouTube channel. You can check those out on our page. And then we also have our Patreon group, which will be going live with our Patreon group and having our chairman strategy call this Thursday at 7:00 p.m. So we'll be going live with them. So if you're interested in being part of that, join our Patreon for that. If you want to, we also have our free beginner's guide, our free guide, ebook we created for a beginner's guide to crypto and XRP. And just because I say the word beginner, I mean it's beginner friendly. But I'm telling you, it's going to be something in there for everybody if you want to get that.
Right. Now remember, we are not
Right,
financial
Sean?
advisors.
No, we are not
We are
financial
not financial
advisors.
advisors. This is only educational purpose. And remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share. To always help out our channel to get out to other people who may be interested in learning about cryptocurrency. And we definitely appreciate your time that you put in. Listen to the videos, your comments. We appreciate those who share the videos. And remember, if you watch the video to the end, put that X in it.
Drop that X. Yes. Thank you, guys. Much love from us, from the DC828. Much love from us. We appreciate you, and we hope that you have a great rest of your day. Until the next video, we are hollering.